And welcome everybody. This is Nancy Hopkins. We are on the Shungite Show, Cosmic Reality Radio. It is November 7th, 2017. And before we get going, there is a couple of things I want to address. One of them is, because it is the Shungite Show, we are going to be talking Bitcoin, however. It's going to be a great show. But, and I'm sorry, I meant to look up his name. We have one of our customers who was saying that he had heard me talking about the credit cards, and that they're little radio energizers, and that we need to put the S4 stickers with them to protect us. So I have to interrupt this because, Courtney, do you not know how to mute? Courtney, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you know how to mute? Are you on a phone?
Hello?
Yeah, are you on a phone?
Yes.
Okay, alright. The problem is that we're hearing you're not muted, and so we can hear you breathing, basically.
Oh, that's my baby.
Okay, so Stephanie, get in here because I don't know how to mute these phones so that she's not coming over the radio.
I know you're talking, Courtney, with one hand and you're holding your baby in the other. So.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
I get it. So it may be difficult for you to keep muting on and off, but you'll see the button on your phone. It looks like a microphone. So okay. Whenever you're not talking, just mute. That's all.
Okay. It says speaker off.
Yes.
There you go. You look like you've been muted. Congratulations. I didn't realize you had a baby in your hands or I wouldn't have said a dang thing. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Thank you, Courtney. What I was saying is that you've got to take these new credit cards. They've got chips in them. Their radio frequency is just, they're awful. So please, get yourself an S4 sticker and just put it in your wallet next to those credit cards. All right, this is going to save you because this newfound friend here said that he heard me say that, and then he made the connection between his wallet and where he had it in his pocket, and the fact that he had been developing discomfort. I don't know pain threshold, but discomfort on that side of his body. And you know, I sometimes you know things, but you don't get it out, the information out there. And I'm pleading with you, please get an S4, put it with your credit cards so that you're not continually being not just radiated by one credit card, but by all of those credit cards. So that's, it's a public health announcement, in my opinion. So there. Alright, so on with the show. We've got...
And there is no escape. Everybody is getting these chipped cards because I got away with it for a while with my PayPal business debit card, and we couldn't figure out why. And I was actually going into stores and gas stations that were turning me away because I didn't have the chip in it. Well, last week they sent me the new card with the chip in it, so now I have to activate it. But again, very interesting, and I really honor that testimonial from that customer because we always tell men, you're holding your phones in your pocket, please put an S4 sticker on it, but now we have the other enemy, and that is our wallet with our credit card. So thank you for starting the show with that one, Nancy.
Yes, because, and you're going to find this, Stephanie, before you call to turn that sucker on, please have an S4 on it. Because I didn't realize the impact of this, and the first card I got, I just, called up and turned it on. When it activated, it was so awful, I couldn't believe it. And the first thing I did was threw the damn thing away from me and then got an S4 to put on it. It was that intense. Now, we're energy sensitive, so we can pick up on this. But I'm telling you, before you even activate these things, get an S4 on top of them because they're brutal.
And just carry in your wallet. I was with a friend last night and she had one of those wallet cases with her phone. So she had the S4 on her phone and then she also had an S4 sticker just stuck right there where she has all her credit cards inside of her wallet. So it's as simple as that. You don't have to stick a S4 on every card.
Oh,
Just
and
have
do not put the sticker on the card, because now that sticker, when you stick it into the machine, is screwing up that machine. We've had too many reports of this new credit card with a sticker on it is having problems. So don't do that. You know, just make sure that you put it when you're not using it, and then when you do use it, put it in that machine and get back as far from the machine as you can. That's all I can tell you. Anything else on that stuff? Thank you.
I think that's it. So today is going to be an exciting show, something that we all need to start bringing our awareness into, and that is cryptocurrency. And we have Courtney Driver with us today, who is the CEO and founder of Google, and she calls herself the Bitcoin Whisperer. So what I know about Bitcoin is that it's a worldwide cryptocurrency and digital payment system. So it was invented by an unknown group of people, which I'd like to know more about that, in 2009. And now they have over 500,000 businesses and merchants and vendors accepting Bitcoin as payment. And this really was brought into my awareness last week when I thought, who am I going to have for a guest? And Courtney popped into my head. And the synchronistic nature of that was later on that day, I was driving to the post office, and right next door, there's a pizza place, and they had a sign on their door, "We now accept Bitcoin." And I've never seen that in any small business around here. I've only seen it online. So I said, wow, all right, this is coming down the pike. Let's get Courtney on the air and let's get this going. So welcome, Courtney.
Courtney, now you have to unmute, hon. Juggle the kid and see if you can't put that thing, she just disconnected herself. Oh, okay. All right, here she's back. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Courtney. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Not a problem. Go ahead. Did you hear her question to you? Courtney? Courtney, did you mute yourself again? See, when she goes off speaker, I think...
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I just wanted to start off everything by saying, yes, I heard the question, and I just wanted to say that I think that you and Nancy and Stephanie, you both are amazing, and in regards to me, you're preaching to the choir, because I already got everything in the house SFF'd up. I got the buggy, the sticker for the cell phone, for the fridge, for everything, because as you mentioned, I am with the baby, and I think that our health is the utmost importance, and I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you guys are doing, what you guys are trying to promote, and where you guys are going with this. I think it's a vehicle for change, and so many people are going to be able to understand it, if they don't already, to change their life in the future. So, to go on to what you guys are talking about with cryptocurrency and what have you, is that this is going to, just as the internet made a level playing field for small to medium-sized businesses to take part on a global scale, is that cryptocurrency is going to be the exact same method and vehicle for, the everyday person to take charge of their life, to reclaim their life, to be able to have access to different tools, people, and things that beforehand were very much out of limits, and only granted or gifted to a certain few, and as the truth movement would label them, the 1%. But as I've done research, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we're here. You
Okay.
fine. You're doing good. We're
I'm just
recording.
checking
Everything's on track. Go ahead, hon.
Okay, great. All right. So just to let you know also is that because I have been doing a lot of research, and just to let you know, getting where we are today with cryptocurrency, and before I can even start talking about it, is that I just have to kind of give like a little recap of where we've been, I think, because exactly, it was created in 2009 from the financial bubble that happened with the banks and the bailouts and everybody, which we're still in, which it unfortunately is not even the end of it. We have yet to see the biggest storm of what's going to happen with the financial crisis once the United dollar is completely dead, and they're going to kill it, and they're going to kill it not out of malice or anything, but it's like to put the U.S. economy out of. It's kind of the only way that I can kind of explain it is there was a part in. There's a part in the show House of Cards, right? Right in the beginning, the first episode, and there's like a dog, and it's like dying. It's half alive and whatever, but it's past the point, past the point of saving, and it's kind of like putting the dog kind of out of its misery, right? So this is what's going to happen with the U.S. economy and dollar, because right now, unfortunately, in presidency, whether it's Trump, whether it was Obama, whether it's whoever, is that now, like that dog, it's past the point of no return, and all the different things that the past presidents that have done, and not just the presidents of the United States, but the presidents and the prime ministers and the founders of everything around the world are going to, just like they made the thing about, it's like snowflakes. Well, all those snowflakes and all those actions have now come to a point where they've all collectivized and they've became into an avalanche, and the avalanche is going, and it's picking up speed, and once it starts rolling, it's going to cause a lot of disruption. And the people who are not paying attention right now, who have their head down or in drugs and alcohol or in this, that, and the other thing, and trying to think that if they do not pay attention that it will just slowly go away, is by the smallest means taking it very, very lightly. People need to be aware, and they need to be both and I say this not to scare people, but I say this so that when the different things happen is that people are able to wake up and know what to do. Because I'll just put it this way. There's a book, and I suggest everybody read this book, and it's by Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, he spent the last 5 years talking with the top 50 billionaires of the world, right? And they have there's a certain knowledge that's passed on to people with wealth that is not taught to people who are doing 9-to-5 jobs. And I'll just break it down to the difference between like the 1% and the 99%. Now there's both good and bad things on both sides. The thing that we need to do is stop pointing fingers at people, whether it's the 1%, whether it's the 99%, whether it's Trump, whether it's this or that or whatever. And we really need to come together and to start helping each other, because if we don't help each other, then we are going to be in a situation where it will be aggressive. But the faster that we can help people and bring knowledge to them is that it will be a less aggressive and less kind of scary situation, because it's only a scary situation when it's a fall that's high from the top to the bottom, right? Like the descent, like if you're just hopping off of the step, that's not so scary because you're just hopping off a little minor step and you can do it. When you have to jump off of a, I don't know, a bungee jump, that's even more scarier. If you have to jump off of a high 40 cliff building, that's extreme scariness. So the point of me talking about cryptocurrency, or I think that you guys talking about, Shungite, is that the more people learn, the less scary it will be, and the smaller of a jump and adjustment they will have to do in their personal life in order to, shift into this new age of consciousness without it causing any additional friction or anxiety or stress or depression than it already may have started or will, because I know personally for me, and I say the word like going down the rabbit hole, but it really is, because, you can start off on YouTube and you start looking at one thing, you start to go on YouTube and search like how to make money online. And then from how to make money online, you see these like advertisements, like, housing bubble crash. And from there, you start wandering into the NWO, and then you start looking at videos that are Illuminati, and then you wind up with like Katy Perry videos, and everything that has to do with the pyramid is evil and all this different things. And I just want to go on record to say that this may become like a shocking topic or what have you for some in your audience, and this is actually a new journey for myself. But with cryptocurrency, there's a whole bunch of different other topics that have come up because it's really like a Monet painting. When you look at a Monet painting, you know, very, very close up, just as if you were to look at cryptocurrency close up, you just be like, oh, it's just cryptocurrency. But if you look and you step back and you see the exact same kind of thing, you see how it's like intertwined into a whole other image, right? And the whole other image that isn't clear for some people right now, but once they start researching other topics and other subjects, is that they will see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture, I believe in my heart that this is all leading towards, is that we've been brainwashed to think that us people who are light workers, who are very sensitive to not only the Earth's balance and the other people around us, is that we are somehow kind of mentally challenged or slower or, you know, just not as successful or fit or whatever. I believe that the times are changing, the tables are flipping, and that all these different categories like being creative and being intuitive and being this, that, and the other thing are actually, people are realizing are an attribute and not something to tie us down and to be, you know, mocked or judged about. And why I say this again is because if you look at the term light worker, it has to do with light. And why light is because obviously in life there is a balance. There is a balance between light and darkness. And I believe that heaven and hell and darkness and light is just as merely, you know, somebody who is in the darkness is because they are uninformed. And that's a personal hell. If you are uninformed and you are uneducated, you are, by definition, whether you're in life or in your brain or wherever, is that you are in a living hell. You're either going to be depressed, in debt, you're going to be just hating everything and everyone around you because you're going to have this kind of feeling of, well, this person has that and I should have that, and then that's your justification for not doing anything with your life because you don't think that the table or the, you know, the grounds are fair. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, also in the truth movement, whether it's anonymous or what have you, and as I'm stepping further away from Facebook, I am also starting to distance myself from anonymous and all the different things, not because I don't love them, not because I do not, you know, think that what they're doing is positive, is because I believe that, you know, we can spend a lifetime chasing after people, trying to attach them to what we believe or try to show them the way by kind of like having our boat of knowledge and then, you know, trying to attach everyone to us with strings and what have you. But what I've learned is that that causes a lot more friction, and people are not all ready because we're all at different stages and life points and perspectives in our life. And, you know, just because somebody doesn't agree with us doesn't mean that we are or they are wrong. We just have to honor our own personal light and freedom and, you know, become lighthouses. And that's what I'm doing. So all this to say is that I have recently joined the Illuminati, and that is also going hand in hand with cryptocurrency because with cryptocurrency, this is going to be the lighthouse to knock out all of the evil and all of the darkness that has been just keeping us down for the past, I don't know, since we've been born, starting with the Rothschilds and so forth. So cryptocurrency, whether or not people understand it right now, whether people are afraid of it right now, whether people know about it but are fearing how it's going to either change or disrupt their business, needs to put their ego aside. Whatever you think you know, whatever you think you want, is that you have to realize that in life there's evolution, and we started off with money, being these huge blocks of gold in the mountain. And then from there, we changed them into nuggets. And from there, we changed them into coins. And from there, we updated and changed it to paper money. And from there, we changed it into credit cards. And now the natural, selection, evolution of everything financial is going to be cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency is a way to knock out the banks. And if anything, that the Truth Movement and I believe you guys and everybody else who is fighting for freedom, personal development, and all these different things is that the banks have had us all in stranglehold. You cannot create a life unless you have great credit. You cannot, afford anything if you don't have money in the bank. And, if you're going to buy something, if your credit score is not good, well, then it's not for you. And what cryptocurrency allows us to do is to trade, whether it's on a small scale, just trading from person to person. Say if I want to trade, say for instance, something as simple as buying a product from you guys on Shungite and cosmicreality.net. I go on, and if there was, say, accept Bitcoin, and then I could just purchase it. And then without having to pay 10% fees or what have you to the bank or having to wait 5 days for it to be frozen, is that automatically from person to person, it will just appear. So what this opens up, because you always have to think for the forest for the trees and the tree for the forest, is that for people who do business and do transactions, say, for instance, somebody is sending $1,000 worth of money to somebody else, or $10,000 or $1 million or $10 million, as huge CEOs or, all over around the world do every single day, all year long. Well, 10% of 1,000 is $100. 10% of $10,000 is $1,000. And 10% of $1 million is still $100,000. So you do this a couple thousand times, throughout the year, and you have somebody's salary or even a few people's salary. So this is why a lot of people, believe in cryptocurrency. This is going to be the future, because without banks adjusting, this is going to be replacing that. And I hope I didn't talk too long or too fast. And I hope it was recorded.
Thank you. Yeah, we heard you. We got your introduction. So let me ask you a question. Let's open up the discussion here. So I'm new. Let's take myself, for example. How much would you recommend that I would invest if I just had $100? How much do you have to invest, and what is your recommendations for people?
Okay. If I would always.
I gotta interrupt here, guys, because to be honest, I have not a clue as to what I'm investing in, how this all works. You've got to go back to the basics, because I don't understand any of it. Just like nobody knows anything, because we need to get the basics before we can really get into some of the details.
Okay, so the basics of cryptocurrency is that they are certain companies, and this is all, as much as Bitcoin is almost 10 years old, is that we're again also in the crawling stage of cryptocurrency. So as much as you guys are searching for reliable sources and reliable companies, so am I. And for the most part, I have been able to find a couple of good sources, because just as much as there are people who are trying to do good, is that there are also scam people right now who are abusing and using the ignorance of some people or the lack of experience. So right now, the first thing that I would suggest anybody do is to go on Instagram and to, if you don't, to create an account and just start checking the hashtag Bitcoin. And when you do the hashtag Bitcoin, you will be able to find lots First of all, you'll find a community, and I'm in there, and there's many other very, very informed people that you can talk to, that you can trust, and we have a community started there where exactly when there is a company or somebody trying to scam, is that we're able to alert the public and to alert ourselves. Yeah, so that's the very first thing I would suggest. The second thing is that you have to open a wallet. And you can open your wallet directly with Bitcoin. You can go to bitcoin.com. They have their own wallet. And if you are in other places than the U.S., for instance, I'm in Canada, so they're really just to get really, really down to basics, is that you have to think of everything that's in the I'll say like cryptoverse, like the crypto universe, or the crypto world, is exactly everything that you see in real life. So the way that you have to think about it is just exchange the word cryptocurrency with money, right? So, I mean, when you have money, if you want to keep your money safe, where do you put it? Right now, you put it in a bank. But in the cryptocurrency world is that you have your cryptocurrency, right? You have your crypto coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Dogecoin, Litecoin, Monero, whatever. That's your money. And where you need to keep it safe is in a bank. But online, the banks, you have a couple of, you can either keep it on an online wallet. And there is, say, for instance, Coinbase is a very well-known and well-trusted online wallet for you to keep your cryptocurrency. There's also another one, which is Coin Mama, which is a little bit more expensive. But when you're dealing with Coin Mama, is that your transactions, they're more secure. So it's a little bit more expensive, but you're paying for a little bit more security. And so you have your crypto money, like your cryptocurrency, your cryptocurrent, whatever, and you can keep that in your crypto wallet. So you have to find a crypto wallet that you are going to keep it in. And the way that you buy or sell your cryptocurrency is through a crypto exchange. And there's a whole bunch of different exchanges. Most exchanges offer a wallet also. So say for instance.
Can I just jump in here? Excuse me, but I want to get this straight in my head. So when you're talking about the wallet, it's like a bank account, correct?
Yes, because the way that cryptocurrency works is kind of a digital realization of how the wealthy have been using and keeping their money for really, I want to say centuries, but like a Swiss account or a Cayman Island account, it's like they give you it's like a long string of numbers, and nobody can access that account unless they have that long string of numbers. Like it has nothing to do with, like there is a protocol and verification and all this different things, but it's not like going to the bank and like 2 pieces of ID. No, like it's just a long string of numbers. So in order to keep those long string of numbers safe and secure, is that what they ended up creating, and his name, he's unknown. It's an alias, and nobody knows actually who or what created Bitcoin, but the pseudonym that was created under is Satoshi Nakamoto. And what the white paper that he wrote, and a white paper is basically like a document, okay, to keep the two parties so that everything is legal, right? So if I sign up with an ICO or an exchange or a wallet, is that every legit. So this is another sign, like if you don't see a white paper, then this is a sign that it's a scam also. It's like a legal document between you and whichever crypto company that you're dealing with, that everything is what they're saying it is. So
okay, let me come in here and just see if I've got this right. First off, we're already working with cryptocurrency. We've been working with cryptocurrency for forever. The illusion.
Since 2009.
Well, even before that, probably. I mean, and the big, well, like you're talking in the big guys, right? Now, so people out there, if you can just think of this, okay? You take a dollar bill, which is a paper thing, and you bring it to the bank, okay?
Yeah.
Well, it disappears as a material 3D image at that point. It becomes information in a computer. All right? So what they're saying here, what I'm understanding Courtney saying, is that all they're doing is changing the domination of the currency. Instead of it being called a dollar, now we're calling it a Bitcoin. The process is the same thing as far as the digital world goes.
Exactly. But what's getting rid of is the middleman. And the middleman, which a lot of people don't realize, is the banks. Because, for a long time, you could not do anything, especially if you're doing global or international business, without a bank. I mean, you have to give a SWIFT number. You have to go through a whole vetting process. You have to, pay fees. You have to wait sometimes 4 to 5 days for the payment to go through. And another big hang up, right? It's not just the banks, but then the kind of I won't and I will say that it's like an online mafia with the banks because, say, for instance, PayPal. I mean, PayPal has been operating like a bank for the past, I don't know, even longer. I'd say since 2000, or I think it was in the late 90s or early 2000s when PayPal came out. But basically, the way that PayPal makes their money is on the basis the same way the bank's money is. They take your money. When you have a transaction, they have this thing where it's like they freeze the money sometimes, especially when you're doing high volume. They can freeze it sometimes for 30 to 60 days. And, if you're a huge Fortune 500 company, well, that's one thing, and you can afford to have your money frozen, and it really doesn't matter. But when you're a small business person, that's leverage, and that's your money, and that's your income to pay for the things that you've already promised your customers, and at the same time to fulfill future inventory and in future payments. Like I can give you an example of my own father. One time, this was back in the 90s. He created Google Cash Factor. And he made like $12.6 million in, I don't know, it was about 12 days. Yet what happened is that back then, PayPal froze about 90% of what he was making. And because they froze the money, well, this was in the beginning when he was just starting, and there was no he wasn't able to continue different products that he was promising to his customers. And so that just became this vicious cycle, because then it's like, okay, well, we paid, why isn't it happening? And, then all these different things, it gets tied into it. And then it ends up actually biting the business owner in the ass. And what cryptocurrency is allowing is for the power to be back into the people, because it's not verified by banks. It's not verified by somebody at PayPal going, yes, you can have your funds. No, you can have your funds. No. What it is, it's putting the power back into the collective, back into the individual, and anyone with a computer and anyone with a connection to the internet who chooses to mine, because there's two ways to have crypto, like to get cryptocurrency, to get Bitcoin, to get whatever coin you want, right? Is that you can either purchase it if you have the money, which whatever cost it is at. Even Bitcoin at one point was worth $1 each. But you have the choice. You can either purchase your cryptocurrency, or you can mine for your cryptocurrency. And when you're mining, you're on your computer, and they give you mathematical equations that your computer has to solve. So that's where it comes with the SHA-256, because that's the speed and that's the encryption level of the blockchain. And the blockchain is an online ledger where all of this stuff takes place, because it's kind of like the ledger is the only way that I can kind of describe a ledger is, say, for instance, you go to a hotel, or you go onto airplane or wherever, and they ask you to sign, kind of a book to say you were there, right? So on this online ledger is that you have all the different people making the transactions. Only before, when it was just between, say, you and the banks or you and PayPal, there's no third party to verify what they're saying is correct. So if you say to PayPal or you say to Amazon or you say to the banks, you say, this, that, and the other thing, and then they're like, oh, sorry, no. Well, there was no kind of way to make that okay, especially when they're like bending it to their own benefit. But with this is that they can't bend it to their own benefit anymore, and they can't charge outrageous fees. They can't, freeze it without due cause or without whatever, so that they can take your money and invest it elsewhere, triple it, make 100 ROI or 200 ROI, and then give it back to you, and then, you're okay and they're okay because they're wealthy.
Okay, I got to interrupt again. You've got me completely lost. All right. Okay. So,
try not to.
Okay, I know. Okay, so the last point I got was that you've got an account. You've opened up an account. Now you can put your dollars into that account, exchange them for Bitcoin, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one way that you can start working with Bitcoin. Now, let's assume we've done that. We've at least got set up. We've got at least some Bitcoin in there. Okay. So now you're talking about something that I'm totally lost. What is this next step that you're talking about? I mean, I've got the wallet. Now what do I do?
Okay. Well, because as I said, everything that's done, and I'll just say like the cryptoverse, because that's kind of what it is. The cryptoverse is kind of like a mirror representation of real life. So if there's a bank in real life, then there's a bank in the cryptoverse. And, that bank is, called the exchange. And if you have a wallet in real life, then you have a wallet in the cryptoverse, which is, your wallet. And,
okay, now let me stop you. We've got the exchange, which is acting like a central repository for all these wallets. You've got all the wallets are in, because and
not just the wallets, for the traders also, because just like we have the New York Stock Exchange and the Forex and everything like this, it's the same thing in the cryptoverse. So you have on that exchange, the exchange, like whether it's Bitcoin or whatever, is like the New York Stock Exchange. So you have people every single day who are trading Bitcoin, like people trade on the stock exchange. You have people who go out to their 9-to-5 job and who are working, for their money, which is the exact same thing as like mine, for Bitcoin or for cryptocurrency. They do their 9-to-5. It's slow, but it still brings some money. And then you have people who are lending Bitcoin to get an interest rate back on it. Just like you have in real life, you have kind of, I don't know if you want to call it like loan sharks or Shylocks or whatever, So every little thing that is in real life is going to be on the blockchain.
Okay, got to interrupt you again. You got to forgive me, but I've been through a lot of people trying to tell me this stuff. Okay, and I think it is very complicated. But I'm thinking in terms of, I know nothing, even though I've heard a lot. It's just not getting into my head. And if it's not getting into my head, I guarantee you it's not getting into a lot of people's heads. All right,
no,
so
exactly.
I want to help you. I want to help you try to bring this out so that we, the person that really, all right, let me give you an example, okay? My bank is USAA, which is the only physical bank is in San Antonio, Texas. Okay? Mm-hmm. But they're one of the biggest banks in the United States because everybody is working digitally with them.
Yeah.
All right? Now, what is that bank to me? That bank holds my checking account. It holds my savings account. And it also is where my stock accounts are, and they manage it. Now, they're managing it. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, in my personal life, as far as finance and banking goes, that's what I need. Someplace that has checking savings and can work with the stock market.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I need those things, explain to me how Bitcoin is going to fill those needs, please, if you can.
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I just want to say, like, I completely appreciate where you're coming from, and exactly is that if this can't be broken down into a way that every person can understand, then it's going to take that much longer, right, for it to come out. So basically, first of all, I just want to say, Bitcoin is not going to solve every single problem. Bitcoin is just one of many companies. It's like when the Berlin Wall came down, there was the one person or whatever that went with the biggest thing, and then it started to chip away. Bitcoin is just like the grandfather, just the first person to actually pierce through the wall of the 1% and the 99%. And Bitcoin, with many, many other companies that are popping up right now, are going to change the future. What is more important than Bitcoin itself as an entity is blockchain, because blockchain is what puts all of these different things on the same playing field. So you're saying you want something where, it can replace your bank, or doesn't have to necessarily replace it, but be the same as your bank. So you need to be able to have, your checking, your checking, your saving account in one place, and be able to have stock options or whatever. Well, you know what? This is a great idea for an ICO, and this could be a company in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like this, I believe is that what most people are looking is like the Facebook of cryptocurrency, so that it's simple and that everybody is able to access it, and that it's not difficult to both buy, sell, or keep. And right now, it is hard to buy, sell, or keep. And the reason why it's hard to buy, sell, or keep, because the people who are at the top, this is like kind of their chance to make a lot of money on it. And this is fair, unfair, who knows. But the other reason why is because banks know. When you see on the internet or the TV or YouTube or whatever is going on and saying cryptocurrency or Bitcoin is volatile and da-da-da-da-da and it's unsafe and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, in the background is that he is buying cryptocurrency. He is buying Bitcoin. He's buying this because Bitcoin right now is funded by all of the top players in the world. It's funded. Bill Gates funds it. Like you name it, the guy Richard Branson, he's funding it. The guy from Apple, Steve Wozniak, is funding it. Everybody who is able to make change that has financial freedom to do so is backing it, because they know how it's going to be profitable for everybody. So basically, is that until the banks, first of all, until there is a major player to compete or to be at the same size or close to the same size as Amazon, as PayPal, as Google, as this and that, just like Bitcoin is right now. Bitcoin is starting the curiosity of like the world. When there is a couple of more companies that are at that level, basically is when more people are going to accept it. Because really the only thing that's waiting for banks to usher in is they are waiting for the absolute last minute. It's kind of like, the Folgers, for the coffee Folgers, they have like a saying, they're like good to the last drop. Well, right now the banks are looking at cryptocurrency as the last stop for them to make money, because it's like they know that their days are numbered. Just like, that's the reason why Amazon right now isn't doing anything, because Amazon has so many connections with the bank and is funded by the bank and is funded by PayPal and is funded by eBay, and all of these people's business model are built up on banks. And this is really, challenging that. So that's the reason why I created Google. And it's because I want to kind of bridge this gap between the people who, for whatever reason, whether it's because they don't have enough time. Like, I get it. You go to work, you have, in our economy, some people have to have one, two. I mean, I have more than one job, but I'm fortunate enough that I can have these jobs and do them from home. But I know that some people don't have the time. They just don't have the time. You have to take care of your kids. You have to go to work. You have to go, do whatever. And you don't have the time to check up on all these different things. And then on top of it all, when you do have time to say, listen to the news, the only thing that the tell you, lie vision is giving you is lies. So then you're not getting caught up on the facts there either. And then there's other people right now that I think they are caught up on what is going on. They balance what they hear on the news and what they read online, and they know that something is big is coming. And hello? Yeah. Do you guys still hear me?
Yep, we hear you fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's just a call. Okay. So they know what is coming, but they, like the banks, like PayPal, like Amazon, and all these different other companies, know that this new way of doing business is threatening their current business. And until somebody big provides a platform where they can easily move from what they're doing right now with their business to a new crypto business, then they're going to, just like the others, hold back on investing in this until it's possible. And I don't blame them, because if they, you have to be smart too, but it's a double-edged sword, because the longer the longer they wait right now for that thing, is that the less money that they will be making. But there's always a possibility to make money, because cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all this different things, this is at the baby stages, right? It's like saying, and I think this was in a video one time, I heard it and I really loved it. It's kind of like saying, to make money or to be a part of the cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or what have you, it is like not too late. It's like saying, oh, is it too late to make money on the internet? Like, the internet is here and it's constantly growing. The same thing with cryptocurrency. And then the third kind of group of people is people who have the means to look things up on the internet, on the news or whatever. They don't but they just aren't interested, or they don't want to know, or they don't think that it affects them. So that's kind of the thing. So basically, all this to say again is the reason why I've created the two latest companies and kind of crypto things is to solve this problem. So first of all, I'll just say that Google, my purpose with Google, as I've said, everything that's in the real world and the online world is going to be in the cryptoverse, right? So right now we have Google, right? And just to put it the way that I kind of thought of this idea is because originally I was looking for a name of a company in crypto that would make sense. So the first name that I was looking at was Bitcoin, and I was checking the meaning of Bitcoin and everything, because I have a background in programming, so I know that Bitcoin is derived from the word bit, like a computer bit or byte, which is a measurement, right? So say, for instance, if you go on to Wikipedia and you type in bit is the absolute smallest number measurement in the world. It's like 0 to the power of 10. And I don't want this to sound like too crazy for some people, but the reason why it's to the power of 10 is because you power of 10. But say 10 to the power of 10, right? That's when you write 10 with 10 zeros, at the end of it. So it gets long. And especially when you have so that's why everybody created this whole, 10 to the power thing. So anyways, skip that. So basically, when I'm on Wikipedia, I'm checking bit, and it's the measurement. It's the first measurement, 0 to the power of 10. And then in my head, I was like, you know what? What's the absolute, what's the highest measurement will be? And then I scrolled down, and then I saw it was 10 to the power of 100. And then I'm looking at the name beside it because like the 10 to the power of the 0 was bit, and that's where Bitcoin comes from because it's the first coin, right? And then when you get to the end of it, the 10 to the power of the 100, the word for it is Google. But it's not spelled Google like we know today as our search engine, G-O-O-G-O-L-E, Google, because I always thought, that's weird. Like, why would somebody name their company Google? But it's because originally the real word for it is Google, which is G-O-O-G-O-L. And the reason why they didn't name it Google back in the day when they were buying their domain is because, first of all, somebody already owned that domain. Second of all, is because there was a family that was trying to sue them when they did take like another domain. So they ended up with the third option, which was Google. However, fast forward today in 2017 is that right now what we are looking at is online gold, basically, is that cryptocurrency is like digital gold. So with that said, so I went onto the internet to buy a domain, and then I was looking at and thinking at, and then I saw it was a domain, and it's Goo Gold, and I just added the D to the end of Google, so that way it's like fitting in cryptocurrency terms. And basically, what Goo is going to do is going to be an open platform for green organizations and occupations in order to both be indexed and to be able to make money. Because a value right now, what a lot of people don't understand, and it's fine because we're never taught this in school, is that our information is worth something. And, people are on Facebook just giving their information. And I know because I have been like this, and I've been in the past just updating every single day, giving every single detail of my life and all these different things. And the thing that most people don't understand is that Facebook is not a social networking company. Facebook is an advertising company. And as somebody who has been in the advertising industry for about close to 20 years now, because I have been doing it since I was a child with my dad, is that advertising, this is the most important thing. It is like, you want to talk to anybody, is that the information that we trade every single day is what is actually worth money. And if you actually do research into, because I mean with the truth movement and all these different things, I went down so many different rabbit holes. And if you check out, different things like Freeman and all this, because basically when we're born, when we're born is that when we sign and our birth certificate and everything like this, is that it's like we're signing, kind of like we're signing away ownership of ourselves, like we're registered. That's why all of our bills and all the different things is that our social insurance number, our name, everything that's registered under it is kind of like we're assuming a debt, right? And on the internet and online is that this thing is kind of like the same thing too, in the sense that all these different things we haven't been paying for, but we're indebted to. We're indebted to Facebook. We're indebted banks, we're indebted to this, we're indebted to that. And what Google is going to do is going to, like I said, give the power back to the person and to give them back money by being able, for the people when they go on to search, say, for instance, you go on to goo.gold. So say you're like searching, I don't know, you're searching for a new job. So you go to goo.gold, you search for a new job, and while you're cruising the internet, instead of it just, not leading you anywhere or doing anything except for time wastage, is that all that time spent browsing is that you will be mining cryptocurrency of your choice, whichever one you want. You can mine Bitcoin, you can mine Monero, you can mine Litecoin, you can mine Google if you want. But then at the end of the day or the end of the week or the end of the month or whatever, then you will get a return. And what I hope to accomplish and what I want to accomplish and, dare I say will accomplish is that people will be able to work from home again. They'll be able to work on their own terms again, and they won't have to rely on, third-party banks, companies to provide them with the financial security and freedom that they need to in order to be happy. And by doing so is that they can stop drinking and stop doing drugs out of reality and start checking in, and when they're checking in either social networks or checking in to do the internet or to do gaming, whatever, is that they will see, that their time is worth something.
Well, I think it's just fascinating, this whole Bitcoin world and, what we're leaving to our children. And really what I had to wrap my head around is that Bitcoin is nothing but an algorithm. So once you understand that, that our money has no banking, but that the only way these cryptos work is that everybody believes in it. And now we have the blockchain technology, which gives them this open platform of all zeros and ones that are just tracked and traced openly and traded because people put value on it. This is the hardest thing to wrap your head around. Like there's this, like you say, there's this whole crypto universe that people have created and put value on in an algorithm because it's very hard for the average person. And I think this is going to be even harder for the older generation to wrap their head around, to even get that part. It's hard to put into human words. I think you're doing a very good job with it because I'm getting it.
Okay, that's great. No, and I really appreciate the way that you just expressed that and explained it also, because it's going to be a huge shift in the way people think, and there's going to be I'll give you a very, very, very similar kind of situation at my bank, right? At my bank is that they just installed these new banks where you don't need to put your money in envelopes anymore. Okay. And even myself, somebody who believes in cryptocurrency, somebody who believes in the blockchain, somebody who believes in Bitcoin, when I was at the bank, a couple of weeks ago, and they installed these new machines, I did not trust putting my money in the bank, without like one of the people there, because I was like, well, what if I put the money in and then, and nothing comes out and then I've lost my money and then there's no way to track it. And then, what else? What if I don't put in the envelope, will it count it correctly? And so on and so forth, right? And not just me, there was a whole lineup of people, right? And, you have the people who are waiting, you have the people that are curious, people that are angry, people that are this, that, and the other thing. And at the end of the day, you could see all the different tellers working, talking, explaining, and blah, 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 blah. And, it took about 2 weeks. And then they go back now. Now I go back to the same bank with the new machines in, and, the learning curve for using the machine is over. Right? And now it's just back to business as usual. And the same thing is kind of going to happen with cryptocurrency. It's going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. As much as I'm stressing and saying the different things, is that things usually take about 7 to 8 years to come to fruition, if you will. And it's funny because I've spent my whole life thinking that I was late for things and then moving on to the next thing and moving on to the next thing. But it's only really recently that I realized it wasn't because I was late to the party. It was because I was always too early and I was by myself and then I just left. So now
let's leave this discussion here and take a break. It's going to be about 4 minutes, 48 seconds, about 5 minutes. And we'll be back right after Fly Like an Eagle, Steve Miller. And we are back. You are listening to the Shungite Radio Show on Cosmic Reality Radio, being simulcast over Haggy Shack Radio. That's haggyshack.com. And you can reach us at cosmicreality.com for the radio, for videos, connections to the schedule for this station. And if you go to cosmicreality.net, you can get to the Shungite store, plus an incredible amount of information on Shungite and EMF problems and other things. Anyway, we are talking Bitcoin today with Courtney Driver, and we need her to tell us how to get in contact with her. Courtney, how do they get in contact with you?
With me, you can go to either Instagram or Twitter. If you go onto Twitter, it's at @FlipThisTweet. Actually, pretty much anywhere you can go at @FlipThisTweet, and you can reach me. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere there. You can also either go to linktree.com. Let me just get it properly. Actually, I'm creating today one website where you can go and reach me, bitnerdybitbougie.com. Okay. And yeah, but mostly my number one spot that I would say for the moment is just find me on Instagram. I'm Bitcoin Whisperer, and from there you can click my bio link. And my bio link has all my different links. So yeah.
Say that one again, please.
If you go to Instagram and you type in Bitcoin Whisperer, you can find me on there. And my link there, on my bio link, you can click and you'll find all the different other things.
Okay, what I would like to do, thank you for that. What I would like to do is actually talk to you as a business owner. Okay?
Yeah.
So, forgetting everything we've just said, as a business owner, I don't take Bitcoin. I mean, convince me that I should take Bitcoin.
Okay, if I was to convince you, and not even convince you, because you'll pretty much come to the conclusion yourself, is that if you were to have invested or bought $100 of Bitcoin right now, today, in 2022, when I very strongly believe, and many others that are studying Bitcoin and what have you, feel that it will be at a market capitalization of at least 250 million, which means that one Bitcoin will be worth $100,000 or more. So even if you have $100 of $100, which is what 1% of that is, that 1% of $100,000 is still like $1,000 to, I believe, $7,000. So you'll still have a very huge return on your money. Just to give you an example, when Bitcoin first came out in 2009, right, is that there was no companies, there was no companies that were accepting it pretty much anywhere. And there was like one, pizza place who was like, yeah, okay, I'll accept Bitcoin, but in order for you to have a piece of pizza, that costs $10, is that I want 10,000 Bitcoin in return. And at the time, 10,000, we're talking in 2009, right? 10,000 Bitcoin was worth like maybe $5. So, in the real world, right? Because not a lot of people knew about it, whatever. So the guy bought his pizza. It cost him 10,000 Bitcoin. And now today, I have no idea where this guy is, but I'm pretty sure he's crying because that piece of pizza cost him like $70 million. So that's in foresight. In hindsight is that if you were to buy or have or hold even a tenth of a Bitcoin or 100th of one Bitcoin today, is that is there any situation in life right now besides winning the lottery where you will just have a windfall of money, like say at the bare minimum, like 10,000 and up in the next 5 or 10 years?
Okay, I gotta jump in here because to me this is look at you're giving me a pipe dream. You're giving me a pipe dream. Okay? You're telling me if I put some money in now and I wait until, what did you say, 2022, that it's going to be worth all this money. Okay? If I have nothing else to do with my money, well, maybe I'll throw some money in there. Okay? But I'm still not vested in any kind of the concept, because to me it's a pipe dream. I've heard them all my life. Buy into this, I'll get this. It's another one of these pipe dreams. I'm gonna just absolutely stop listening to you. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
now,
no, that's fine. Because I really do, like we're talking about, the walls and the barriers in life. I really do want to, make it, or understand where, the mindset of other people are coming from. Because, it isn't a pipe dream.
Okay, all I can do is talk for myself.
I appreciate your honesty, and because I do think that it's important to know, what it is.
Let me put it to you this way, okay?
Yeah.
I've got a business.
Yeah.
I say, okay, well, I understand the concept of substituting the concept of Bitcoin, taking out the bank middleman in order for us all to have a way of exchanging our monies. We've agreed. I mean, okay, I'm in an old place and there's nothing really happening, and then some trading starts to happen, and I say, well, let's just use these beads as money. All right, that's actually how it all started. That the people agreed.
Which is the way the original money started also.
That's what I'm saying.
The reason why I went from coins to paper is because there was no more in gold, and it was IOU. So yes. I mean, most of us, I think, really do understand that concept, that it is a belief system. All right. Yeah. Now, to give you some information so that you can try to explain it to people is why are we saying that? Well, when you look at a bank, what's a bank remind you of? What do the big banks look like? They look like churches, like cathedrals. When you go inside of a bank, what do? You whisper. You wait in line and you whisper. Like you've got some kind of a sacred place that you've walked into. That's the kind of mindset that you're up against. Is that people will say, oh, well, I believe in the banks. They've always been there, and besides which, it's too complicated for me to think about anything else. So you're going up against a mindset that says, A, I don't want to be bothered as long as my money is safe. Okay? Now, we all know that our money is not safe. Yeah.
All right, so now...
And proof of,
And so now I'm going to say, okay, I understand my money's not safe, so let's just look at what you're trying to tell me now. You're saying, well, let's just start up another system while this other one, the banking system, is still standing. So that when the fall comes, okay, it fell, but we've already started this other one. Now, what makes me very, let's say, nervous is when I know that the big boys are involved in the basic foundation of building the foundation of this. The gates. Is Warren Buffett involved in it?
Oh, Warren Buffett is speaking, and I'm glad you brought up this point. First of all, I have no idea. I haven't tracked whether he's invested or not. But what I will say that I personally have felt as a huge disservice, and that took me a while to get out of the mindset, is because since birth I have been told, and whether it's from this, like on TV, from parents, friends, family, anything, or even in the truth movement, it's like we've equated anybody who has money with evil, anybody who has reached a certain spot in their life, just the Antichrist. And we see this, and I saw this a lot also when I was in, not that I'm not in the truth movement, but I'm not in the truth movement of blaming anymore, pointing fingers and saying this, that, and the other thing. Because if you do take a moment to look on the internet and to Google or Googled in the future what you're looking for, is that if you were to read Warren Buffett, and I have, before I was like, oh, Warren Buffett's the devil, or Mark Zuckerberg is the devil, or this is the devil, or that is the devil. I actually read what they had to say, and I've learned more about my finances and myself from reading from Warren Buffett. He gives so many different tips and life hacks and different things about money. And you know, the funny thing about money is that it is like a language. It really is. It's like learning a whole nother language. And if you don't speak the language of money, you can never have money in your life, because what ends up happening is you will never be understood. You will never open up yourself, your mind, your home, your bank account, whether it's online or offline, whether it's in the regular banks or if it's in the bit banks or whatever, is to receive it, because it's like you're going to have a lock on your front door. It's like you're going to have a lock on your account, and you know, everything is going to be frozen. So just to say is that just like in the real world, because let me tell you, I knew about Bitcoin in 2009, and I actually wrote an article about it on LinkedIn, because I saw, because at that time I was really into InfoWars, I was really into Alex Jones, and one of his good colleagues, friends, and interview people that come on a lot of time is who is also a huge proponent for Bitcoin, is Max Kaiser. And even back then, when it was $1, I knew about Bitcoin. I did not buy a Bitcoin because I was in the mentality where any type of money is evil. Any type of pursuit of money in any way, shape, or form is like not noble. That all these different things, and that I already foresaw back then in 2009 how all of this stuff in cryptocurrency could be used and turned and flipped for the worse. And I will just say what the worst conditions are of blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency in the world. Just as all of these different things are, you know, positive, like you can do transactions from person to person without having to wait like a freezer on your account, or with additional bank fees, or this, that, and the other thing, is that, again, in anything in the world, is that there is a balance. And this can also, and will also, that I'm not stupid enough to not believe, is that this, yes, will also be used for you know, not nice things. This will be used for people to make it easier to do bad things and to fund bad things. And, you know, this is why I personally have not invested, and why I didn't invest in 2009 is because I was like, no, I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to be part of it. I don't want to, you know, make it easy or easier for criminals or this, that, or the other thing to do it.
Okay, just to clarify my position, I am an admirer of Warren Buffett. Okay, I am a fan of his. Warren Buffett, to me, if he was involved in it, I'd probably say, oh, okay, let me see what it is.
No, he's starting to, like, all the top people are, like, but continue. I don't know how much or if he has, but I know I've read that he is interested. Yeah.
Okay, well, I would check into that, because I'm not alone in knowing that this guy's a good guy. Okay, so we've got this concept of the Bitcoin. All right, now you can make money at it. It's just basically what it is I'm betting that I can make $10 in 3 years versus the $4 that I'm putting out right now. It's a gambling thing. It's a way of, but this is the stock market. This is exactly what the stock market is all about. Is that you buy low and you sell high, or, you know, I mean, it's the same thing. So this is nothing new, all right? And yes, people make lots of money in stock markets, but in a certain way, it's a way of securing your money. All right? There is a security aspect to having stocks and bonds, in that it's not locked in one bank. It is actually locked within the superstructure of the stock market / bond market. So it is a way of protecting your money. Now, when you come into my arena, again, I'm trying to bring you back to me as a merchant, okay?
Yeah.
What am I going to gain by taking in Bitcoin? Because now I've got Bitcoin, but can I pay my employees with it? Can I pay my vendors with it? Or do I have a bunch of Bitcoin that I'm holding on to because I can't get rid of it, and hopefully maybe in the future it'll be worth something and maybe I can sell it?
Okay. There's numerous answers to this question. with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in any way, Monero, Litecoin, whoever you have or are holding, as you put it, and I'm glad you put it that way because this is an actual term in the cryptocurrency world. And basically, it depends what you want to do. If your goal is to make money, then yes, then my one suggestion for you to do today, however small you can, and it's never to invest more than you can, okay? Because, I mean, it's not for you to, if you have a certain amount of money and you put all that money and then you can't eat or support your family or this or that or the other thing, then that's one thing. But there is different things. First lane of investing and buying and selling cryptocurrency is with the purpose of buying it right now very, very low, okay, and holding on to it. And the term in the cryptoverse or whatever your crypto world you want to call it is hold. You will see this a lot on the internet, and you will see it more as it become more of a household name, more of a brand, more that people understand. But whenever you see the hashtag HODL, what this means is hold on for dear life. Because what a lot of people who are on line or offline in the real world, who are buying cryptocurrency, selling cryptocurrency, this is like a joke. And this is kind of like an inside, not like an inside joke of whatever, but it's a thing like all these people are getting so worked up about, the price of Bitcoin, it's going up, it's going down, or whatever coin it is, right? And the people who know what's going on right now, we're not fazed by it by any means, because you know what? All you have to do if you're skeptical is just buy $10 today, or don't even buy $10. Like, take the whatever. But say you buy $10, you just buy that $10 and you hold it. Just hold it till 2022. Like, I mean, that's it. That's like the bottom worst case scenario. Like, nobody's if anything, people who are really into the know of cryptocurrency, they're not even telling anybody to buy it, because they're all trying to buy it up themselves, and they're all trying to find ways to mine it themselves. So really, it's not a thing where, in order for cryptocurrency or the blockchain to work, is that we need you to buy it. We don't need you to buy it. We're just trying to give you like a heads up, like, hey, okay, like in a couple of years, if you see me with a Lambo and, or not even a Lambo, like, whatever, like you just see me this, that, or the other thing, well, don't hate.
Okay, let me jump in here for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Again. All right, so what you got here? What you got here is you got an idea that is well within pulling off. I mean, it's just a matter of getting the collective consciousness to agree that instead of using the banks, we're going to use Bitcoin. That's the bottom line. Okay. So, on the one hand, we can talk.
Not happening right now. Yeah.
Well, wait, just listen to me, okay? Calm down.
Okay.
Just listen to what I'm telling you, all right? I work with the collective consciousness, so I do know how it operates. All right, so what you're saying here, okay, what you're saying here is that in order to make this real, all we have to do, or all you have to do, is to convince the people to just put $10 out there. Okay, now $10 in Bitcoin is not going to hurt anybody. So you get it, you forget about it, it's there, okay? But you're not going to forget about it. You're going to think about this $10 worth of Bitcoin you got. And as a human being, you're going to go grow, grow, grow. So if you get everybody out there just putting their $10 on it, they are going to manipulate the collective consciousness to make this thing real.
Well, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying here? That instead of talking to people in terms of, I'm talking now as a metaphysician, as somebody who's been in this, for a while. If you're explaining to me that, look, we've got to turn around the very basic way that we even look at the financial stability of this planet, because it's, you know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do here is we're going to start something new, and it's all based on your belief in it. A metaphysician will understand this. Yeah. So you get them to take out $10 worth of this Bitcoin, okay? And then don't worry about it growing or where it's going. All you're doing is trying to manifest within the collective consciousness a vision of a new way of doing things, where everybody that's got that $10 in it is invested.
Yeah, exactly.
All right? If you think small like that, then you're going to get movement within the collective consciousness. If you focus on, if you do this and you do that and you do this, you're going to make all this money and all of that's going to just confound people. Keep it simple. And just say to them, we're trying to build a new theory of financial stability. I think more people are waking up to the fact that even people who I considered not awake now understand the Federal Reserve, understand the banks, understand how we get screwed all the time. And there are other options, other systems that could be put up very quickly to replace them. This is not a big nut to crack. All right?
Well, this is, Oh, no, and I think it's, amazing what you and Stephanie are doing to wake up the collective consciousness, because like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It will, however, because now we are coming to the end of the cycle, and it usually takes about 7 to 10 years for a cycle to kind of develop, where something, because even the internet in the beginning, like even the beginning clips of the internet, you have Katie Couric on after the morning show, where she's like, "Oh, today we're going to talk about something called the internet. What's the internet? What do you do?" So like everything takes a learning curve, and the way that, and I'm trying my best to keep it to scale and keep it small also, because it doesn't even matter about $10 or $1. The only thing that it really is just to get people to a state where they are free, where they are able to create their own income, their own money. They don't have to rely on, it's just what motivates me and what has motivated me, and to change my mindset. And for every single person, it will be different. One thing, it's just going to, like a light switch one day, some people are going to have different reasons why they finally, I get it. They have that light bulb moment.
Okay, so let's just stop here again, okay? Because what you want to be, what the end game is that I as a merchant accept Bitcoin, then my vendors accept the Bitcoin from me, and then my employees can be paid but through Bitcoin. All of the things that are done under the auspices of the Federal Reserve, you want to be able to make real within in an environment where there is no middleman that is taking your money in order to do this. And yet, there is a middleman in Bitcoin. It would be you at this point, correct?
The middleman right now in cryptocurrency is me, and it would be you. There is no, if you, I'm not stopping anyone from getting to cryptocurrency, and I'm not the only one to get somebody into the cryptocurrency.
Anybody could really set up so that they were acting as a middleman, because there's always got to be somebody running the show. And you got that's really what it is with the blockchain, is that there is nobody, everybody is running the show. We are all, and I think this ties in really well with the way that our world is coming to right now. It's like, I don't know, they say it's like the age of the Aquarius, and I'm Aquarius, but basically it's this coming to this conscious awakening where, before everybody just relinquished their power, they relinquished their independence, they relinquished their thoughts, they relinquished anything and everything that they owned to everything and everything that's in the world, whether it's, the school system, whether it's their parents, the police officers, the people running the grocery store, this, that, or the other thing. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be writing a book also about this to try to help people transition, because, as I say, right, I'm only trying to be like a lighthouse. I'm not going to be
going and like if people seek me out, that's one thing. But like I'm not going to be running around to people like, oh, you gotta go buy Bitcoin. Like I don't even have time for that. You know what I mean?
So may I ask you about this new website, the Googold.com?
Yeah.
You're saying you're essentially going to make yourself a search engine only focused on Bitcoin.
No. It's
okay.
not just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be one of the things that you could. Okay, I'm going to just try this. Okay,
Google, but it is a search engine service. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's a search engine. It's going to be like Google. The only difference between Googold and Google is that on Googold you are going to be able to make money from home. So everything that you do online will be monetized. And like in crypto terms, it's like you're hashing. Like you're mining, you're hashing with as Google would be giving you free hash power. So what that means is that you go on to goo.gold and then you type in, I don't know, looking for a job or looking for the closest restaurant, or you log on to your whatever social media account, Instagram, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Well, you press a button, and now it will be mining. So what that means is that all of your activity, and you can turn it off whenever, however often you want, But while you're doing all these different things is that you will be mining your own cryptocurrency. So you will be your own bank. And if you don't want to give, and the other thing that it's going to be doing is it's going to be providing encryption for third parties, so that when you are, because this isn't as a web programmer also, I see other different things. Just as I've seen like the different things with marketing and with the, like Facebook and stuff like this, using people's private information, is that they're also, right now, companies like Facebook, like whatever, is that they are mining your information. You're not doing any mining. They're mining your information. They're taking all of your personal data and they're selling it to marketing agencies or small to medium large size businesses, so that the other small to medium large businesses can be able to target you on your Facebook profile. Like there's not, I'll tell you, it's called retargeting. It's not by accident or coincidence or whatever that when you look at it, say you go on Amazon and say you're looking for, I don't know, like a hair dye or a child's toy or blah, 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 whatever. You click on one button on Amazon and then say you want, I don't know, super squeaky kids shampoo. Okay, but you don't buy that super squeaky clean shampoo on Amazon. But they already have your information. Google, Google, the one that we know today, doesn't encrypt it. So what ends up happening is that your information from your IP address pings out, and then they grab it, and then they're like, oh, okay, send it to their advertising companies or whatever. And then when you're scrolling some other site, like now you've gone from Amazon to YouTube, and you're watching a YouTube video, and oh, what do you know? You see an ad for super shiny kid shampoo. And you think, oh, well, this is like whatever. It's like, no, like they are taking your information and using it against you. And what I'm trying to do is trying to make that information so that it goes back to, is in, like, it's their information. You're the bank. You're the kind of captain of your own, ship. And you decide, do I really want to give my information? Look, there's going to be people in life, they really don't care. Just like there's people, and this is for whatever reason they don't care, and I'm not here to judge anybody. I don't, whatever. But there will be different degrees of Gold that you can give your information, and you will be paid for it. Now, is this like opportunistic, whatever? Like, it's already happening. And this is kind of where my thought process in with the whole situation, is that all this stuff it's kind of like past the point of no return, because the financial situation is going to be destroyed. This is a certainty. It's not like my train of thought. It's like there is no way, for the way things are going right now, how in debt not just the U.S. is, but everybody that's attached to the U.S., whether it's import, export. And right now, Trump, and I know this may like turn off and whatever a lot of people that may be listening, but Trump is really in the presidency right now to be the scapegoat. All of the different things that happened in the previous years are going to get allotted onto him. And whether this is fair, unfair, do I agree with him as a president? Not 100%. Do I agree with the different things that he's done? No. But regardless whether I like him or I don't like him, or or say, for instance, on the other side, if it was Hillary in position right now, you know, who had the links with the emails with Podesto and all that, you know, fiasco with the pedophilia and the pizza and, you know, but because she is a woman, I should be behind that. It doesn't matter who's in presidency right now, is that things are going to be changing. Now, the more friction there is with the change, that's to everybody's personal, you know, like whatever degree of discomfort or whatever you want. So basically is that what I'm trying to do right now is, instead of fighting the different things that are inevitable, like in the beginning, I never wanted to join Facebook because I'm like, if everybody loves Facebook, I hate Facebook. And then when everybody started to kind of like not like Facebook, check it out. Just like there was the TV show Everybody Loves Raymond, and I was like, oh, if everybody loves Raymond, I hate Raymond. And I just like turned my eye, like, nah, if everybody loves it, I don't want to love it. And this is the exact same thing that I see happening with cryptocurrency, and this is why I fought it in the beginning, like in 2009. But then in 2009, I was like looking at only all the bad things that could happen. But then I wasn't thinking about all of the different good things that could happen with it. Because irregardless, whether it's real money or crypto money or whatever, is that there will always, 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 always be negative. And just like there'll always, always be positive. So the only thing that I can do is control my reaction, my actions to different things in life. You know? And it's like the only way that I can kind of like put this into kind of a framework of thinking is, say, you know, a police officer. There's kind of like police officers who put on their uniform every single day. They put on the same badge. They put on the same outfit. And yet there's police officers that with that badge and that outfit, they choose to do wrong. And then there's be a bad cop. And then there's other people who put that badge and they put that uniform on and they choose to do good. And it's going to be the exact same thing with cryptocurrency. So instead of trying to fight it and try to go like this, is that I'm going to get in and try to do my best to steer it as far clear away from, like, and going back to the lighthouse reference, is that say there is like a whole sea of information on the internet, and that because there is like bad people who do bad things, whether it's scamming, whether it's pedophilia, whether it's you know, like terrorism stuff. Like this is to me, you know, where the rocks are and all these different things. And what I'm going to try to do is, instead of just kind of staying in my boat and being like, I'm trying to be a lighthouse and trying to steer as many people away from the rocks and the cliffs and the you know, kind of crazy water, and steer them to like a safer spot. You know, that's it. And
okay,
yeah.
I got a question for you. So you're talking about this mining, and I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing. But again, as a merchant, how do I know? Well, as a merchant, as an individual who's got bitcoins that may want to buy and sell merchandise because of bitcoins, how do you know who's got the bitcoins? Where is the list of people? Is that what you're dealing with in your concept? How does the community know about the community?
And basically is that you will be like verified by your social networks. So you could be Google account or your Facebook account or your LinkedIn account or your Instagram account, because there is like one of the issues with cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever is because, like you can do a transaction without knowing the, who exactly the second party is, right? Because all it is it's scanning, like you can either scan like a QR code or you can give your wallet address, which a wallet address is like, I don't know, 20 digits long. But I don't, like, you can use that method, that's fine. But right now, as a programmer, because I see things with multiple lenses. I see cryptocurrency as a programmer. I see it as a web designer. I see it as a marketer. I see it as a salesperson. I see it as like a mom, as somebody, and so basically I think that providing a platform that it does provide verification so that you do know, okay, so if I'm dealing with this company or if I'm dealing with that person and their address is that it's legit, they're verified, and that there is a means to contact them afterwards. Because unfortunately, and I'll say this now, is that there is always, like, people in Bitcoin or people in cryptocurrency, a lot of them are like, oh no, it's like, there's no way that anything could happen. And like, as a programmer, I will tell you firsthand, there is always, if man created it, man can find a way around it. Do you know what I mean? So there is a lot of people. The thing that I would suggest, if you are going to purchase anything more than like $10 to $100, okay, you're fine. But if you were to ever heavily invest in cryptocurrency, like say between 500 and upwards, is that I would suggest to purchase it's like a USB key. And what that allows you to do is, when you purchase your Bitcoin or your Monero or your Litecoin or your Dogecoin, is that it goes, it goes directly off of the exchange. So it's the equivalent of, like when you go, it's kind of like when you go to the bank right now. Like, you could have checks deposited in your account, but you can take the money out and keep it at home because you feel like it's safer at home than it is in the bank. Well, it's the exact same thing. It's like you have it, it's called the Ledger Nano S, and this I'm going to be selling because I have created a Crypto Bay, which is kind of like, first of all, the reason for Crypto Bay is because I see the need to have a spot, because Amazon is obviously not getting behind cryptocurrency because it's not in their benefit. They have too many ties with the banks right now, and PayPal is that for them to get involved in cryptocurrency, it would be the equivalent of them shooting themselves in the foot. So that's first of all. So besides that is that right now, in order, as you said, what am I going to do if I have all this Bitcoin? Well, I created Crypto Bay because it's going to be a thing like in between eBay and Amazon, but for crypto. So you can buy everything that you could buy at Amazon, you'll be able to buy at Crypto Bay. And starting with that, like, one of the things that I'm going to be putting out for like Boxing Day, Black Friday to begin with, and then because I am doing this like at home, as with my baby, but I will be hiring more staff in the future to add more products. But everything, like I said, everything will be putting out, you'll be able to purchase. So the Ledger Nano S is like a USB key. And once you buy your Bitcoin, you put it on there, you transfer it from your exchange, whichever exchange you choose. I would suggest Coinbase.com or CoinMama.com. And then when you do, then you can transfer it directly onto your USB key. And then, like I said, you can forget about it because then it's on your USB key. And the only thing, then there's if there's ever different things that could happen if somebody and I'm not talking about if you have like $10 or $100, but like people right now who have, I'm talking of upwards like 10,000, 100,000, $1 million or whatever, like all these huge whales, right? The people have money in this, they are taking and then putting it on their independent, Ledger NOS keys just as a secondary, because if you forget your number, like if you don't write it down, if you don't have it somewhere safe, this is like a backup measure. And I think that in life, there's always, it's always good to have a plan B, just in case, because I think that with everything going on, it's great to be hopeful. Like, it's my kind of motto is like hope for the best, but plan for the worst. And just like I hope for the best for cryptocurrency, is that I also plan for the worst also. So I know that when all of this stuff starts to become mainstream, when all the people are like, oh, yeah, I think I have some Bitcoin on my computer. Well, there's already people, trust me, because I have been in the programming industry. I'm still in it. And, you want to talk about, because it's very similar online and offline. Like, you kind of have, like, going back to the whole thing with, like, people on the internet and in life, there's people who work and do good, and there's people that work and do harm. And like on the online world, it's like you could say that these are black hat people and white hat people. There are black hat hackers and there are white hat hackers. Like in the magical and kind of spiritual and illuminated community, there is white magic and there is black magic. There is always this kind of balance of good and bad. And, just as much as I would love to say, cryptocurrency is 100% fail-proof, like, it's not. So I see this just as it's not fail-proof in real life. Like, there's people every single day that, try or have, tried to rob banks, or who have, broken into different people's homes, or who have stolen wallets on the metro. Like, this will always happen. But the only thing that I can do is try to inform and warn and, protect people as much as I can from this happening. And, so that's what basically Googled and CryptoPay is going to do, so that, if somebody says, oh, what can I do with my Bitcoin? Well, you can do pretty much everything. Because in the future, I also want to set up, and I will, and I already have it set up, beginning, is that you can become an affiliate for both, either CryptoPay or Googled, or you can become an influencer. And that way, again, my whole search, because I really do feel like it's a search and a shift for finances, and is everything because of my son and for financial security. Like, I'm not materialistic. It's like if some people are like, oh, it's like a pursuit of money. No, it's very much a pursuit of not only my son and myself's security in this world, for that of everybody else, because like everything goes around. And when I'll tell you just one story, right? When I was about 25, I was with my friend. Actually, we were on this boat, and I paid for the ticket to be on the boat. I was like a friend, so I was free, right? But he was like an engineer on the boat, and he had to go on and fix like one of the safety boats on the thing. But like as a perk for being on that boat is that we got to stay on the boat for free. So anyways, I remember this was like we wake up, we're having breakfast, and I'm on this boat, and this boat is like filled with a whole bunch of people for like, I guess it's like one of retirement cruise or something, like people, it was like couples and everything like this. But basically, as I was looking around, and it was all these people like in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're just like chilling, they're like having a super awesome time. They're just like eating breakfast, looking out at the boat, and and everything just seems so like peaceful and happy. And I remember in that very moment, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God, like I really hope and that my life at this point in my my stage of my life, I'm going to be like this, because I would hate to be like 60 or 70 or 80 and not have that financial security to be doing what I want, when I want, and like where and who I want to be doing it with, instead of like sometimes like the alternative. And it's sad to say, and I do appreciate like everybody who works in every type of job, but like, I mean, I walk into Walmart and I see like there's people that work at Walmart and they're like in their 60s or 70s. I don't want to be that. Like, I want to be able to relax and enjoy my life. So basically, it's also, you know, that, like, I don't know. Hello?
We're here. Hi.
Okay. It's because my son's always like pressing with the buttons for the phone, so I'm like always constantly, I'm like worried that I'm talking to myself.
I just really honor you in what you're doing. You know, as a Bitcoin enthusiast, you know, you're almost like an evangelist in the Bitcoin world because you see the beauty of the technology and what a huge movement it is. And I mean, you know, it's almost like a religion where anything could get cult-like and whatever, but I understand in the work that I'm doing and, you know, what that looks like. So you see the spirit in it and you see the betterment of Bitcoin. And I know when you're in those forums and you're setting everything up, you're working that collective consciousness of, you know, what's next. And again, you're light years ahead of what's happening, but it's people like you that are laying the foundation for setting it up that we will see this, you know, in our children's lifetime. Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm so excited about it, and I'm looking forward to having you back because there's so much more about you, Courtney, that we haven't even discussed. Like the new book. I know you've written a few books, you've done documentaries, and your new book is called The Walls.
yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to hearing that. If you want to give us, we have 10 minutes, so let's talk a little bit about your new book, The Walls.
Oh, yeah. And thank you so much, Stephanie. Like, I am so honored and like grateful for like your comments. And I, you know, since the first time I heard you and Nancy speak, you know, about your experiences and your path and your struggle and all the different things that you guys have accomplished and learned in your lifetime and continue, you know, learning, it's just awe-inspiring. So to be among like minds to discuss this, I feel very, very blessed. And in regards to that is that I always like, I'm trying to, you know, inform that. I think that's my main purpose in life. Like you guys, it's, you know, protecting with the Shungite and you know, exploring and explaining and bringing people together, for that. And I think that my thing to add to this kind of, collective consciousness is just informing and with that is, I thought of the walls because through my life, it's like I felt like I had to break through so many, like bang my head against so many walls or, you know, come up against walls or break down walls of just thought and whatever. And so the walls is going to be, each chapter is going to be a different wall that had to break through. So for instance, everything in our life, we're lied to from the beginning. Like, if you look at it, like even when we're a baby, you know, like our parents are like, here comes the airplane. It's like, it's not an airplane. It's, it's a spoon. It's food, you know, and whatever. But it starts off with these like little lies and that we think that everything is safe and everything is good. And then, you know, whether it's the walls of our school, we think that we're learning the right thing, or the walls of our grocery store where we think that we're getting the safest food, or the walls of our government, where we think that everything is safe and being done properly, or the police station or whatever. And they're not. And I think once people realize, because this is how I realize, hey, you know, there's no one coming to save me. Like, there's no one. I have to stop waiting, whether it's for Mr. Right or Mr. Hero or whatever, like, no, and, you know, take control. And when you realize that there really isn't anyone else who's going to to do that, then, the option to do it becomes ever more evident and ever more urgent, because we only do things until the pain, the gain outweighs the pain, I guess you could say. And when, whether it's quitting smoking or this, that, or the other thing, when you finally realize, that actually you're in a situation where you're getting more pain than gain, then you make the change. So hopefully that book will help some other minds be free, and it will also be on CryptoPay. CryptoPay.
I love it. And before we end, we have a quick 5 minutes. So, when you contacted me a couple months ago, you ordered Shungite kit for your house. The baby was a couple months old, and you said that you were suffering from, you had ringing in the ears, right? Or sinus?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was happening? Tell us about your Shungite experience.
Oh, and I owe a huge thank you to you and your daughter and to Nancy for that, because as you were talking, you guys were talking about the EMF waves at school and all this, how our society has advanced, and that we haven't actually advanced the protection around us to match it. So I personally was suffering, and it had been 5 years that I was suffering, and I was at the point where I was having blood at one point coming out of my ear, and it was both dry blood and regular blood sometimes. Because when I was traveling to Paris one time, I was in the airplane, and there was earplugs in my ear. This was the first time I had ever traveled anywhere, and I didn't know the protocol or the procedure, and I had kept the earbud in my ear, and because they have Wi-Fi now on the airplanes, so throughout the whole plane ride, when I got off, I I guess you could say it was vertigo or something. I couldn't even, I got to the hotel room and my ears were blocked since then. And anyways, it was a whole, a journey for 5 years, having ear problems, a leaking of the ear, and nobody knew what it was. And this is how I'm talking about the walls, because I with all the different things that happened in my life, I was going to this place, to that place, and whether it was the hospital, the stores or whatever, nobody was talking about anything. Nobody was doing anything about anything. And so basically, when I was listening to you on the radio the last time, it was it's all clicking, it's all making sense. And with all the negative airwaves that we have around. So I ordered and I got it, and it came really, really fast, and the personal touch, it just was very, very nice to know that there is not just a company, but a community out there trying to make change, and you guys are top of my list for that. And now since I have it, I don't have any problem. First of all, I don't have any problem sleeping. Because before I used to always hear a humming in my ears when I was going to go to bed, or sometimes during the day. And this was from the cell phone or the other things, because I guess the waves were very, very strong. And, with the refrigerator.
And the baby sleeps better, right?
Yeah.
You notice that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, because exactly. I have I have my pendant necklace. And I have it on the, and not only that, I noticed in the fridge, before I would have to put it on 8 for everything to freeze in the freezer. And now it's on 5, and it's fine. Everything is frozen. So it saves money. It saves time. And, yeah.
It's such a simple solution, and thank you so much for your support and your testimonial on that one, because you felt the changes, and you know this is real.
Oh yeah. And it's just, and a lot of the times it's that the solution is staring you right in the face, and you're just so you don't even see it. But every time if you guys also would like, I would love to carry, the Shungite, different products that you guys are selling. If you want, I'd love to put them on Crypto Bay. That would be another spot where people could reach you in the future. So everything is, you guys.
We so appreciate your being with us, and your informative information. What we're going to do now is we're going to sign off on this show with much thanks. So can you give your contact again, the Instagram at?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to put together this week. It's going to be bitcoinwhisperer.com. But in the meantime, you can go to flipthistweet.com or flipthistweet anywhere on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. But the top place just to do one thing today is just go to Instagram and check me out at Bitcoin Whisperer and like and follow. And I also put out kind of like these meme jokes and stuff to try to make learning about crypto easier. So it's like a little bit more easy to digest, because I know sometimes I talk a lot. So,
okay, we've got to go, sweetie. I thank you so very much, and
all right.
Here's the outro. Be safe.
Yeah.
And hugs to that baby.
Yeah. Bye.
You have been listening to the Shungite Radio Show, produced by Cosmic Reality Radio and simulcasted over Haggy Shack Radio.